think what would apply to most people is they start off using US freelancers and they want someone who's full time, but they don't want US full time for various reasons, whether it's employment law, cost, etc. So to have someone offshore, it allows you to have the expertise of your consultant or your full-time person.
And then all the liability that that could entail. Not that you're gonna have a bad relationship or have anything go wrong with any in-person worker that you have, but it's just so much easier to kind of hire offshore people through a service provider.
Yeah, exactly. Even if there's nothing goes wrong with the employment relationship, just having a payroll is a big burden, whether it's the payroll taxes or the compliance or any of that. So that's one of the biggest benefits of just any staffing agency. You get to go around that.
Can you kind of walk me through how you were kind of doing things before you decided to hire people from me?
Yeah, I used several US freelance paralegals, and even though they were skilled and very hardworking, they weren't full time. So they never were really part of the team and able to give that full commitment. Whereas by switching to offshore through a staffing agency, it gives more flexibility while at the same time still having someone that's full time or almost full time, or at least really part of the team on a day-to-day basis.
What did you think about the hiring process with Remote Hive?
It's good to have the initial screening of the candidates by Remote Hive. And that screening can be done using the criteria that we provide. So, for example, I said that, we wanted lawyers in Colombia from particular law firms that were of a certain caliber for corporate law in Colombia. And so Remote Hive was able to take our description of what we're looking for, whether it's objective criteria of where someone's worked or more subjective things like the type of work ethic or personality that they have. And Remote Hive was able to do the first pass of those candidates so that by the time my team is interviewing them, they've already been pre-screened and we know that they have at least the basic requirements.
Once we went through that whole process and you got the people onboarded, how do you think the quality of their work has been? What has been the benefit to you?
In the US, paralegals could be very expensive, even though they're not lawyers themselves. But with Hive, I was able to get an actual lawyer as a paralegal and just have someone with much higher level of expertise and years of training. That's incredibly valuable.
If you had any initial hesitation or skepticism overall with offshore staffing, what do you think about those hesitations today?
The main hesitation I think that anyone would have and should have is over data security and having sensitive data on offshore servers. So the way to deal with that, the way my team dealt with it, is simply by investing in our own hardware and just sending our own laptop to the lawyer in Colombia rather than having them use their own. And another option is they can use a virtual desktop. There's many technological solutions. So it's a legitimate problem, but it's a problem that can easily be solved with a small investment that you would make for any employee.
What would you say to people who would be on the fence of working with me or working with offshore staffing?
I would say try it with a lower risk position, because in every business there are several different areas where you could plug someone in, and some are going to be much higher risk than others. So I would say start small. Start with a low risk position, maybe something more back office.